Probably seeing the progression of like .com boom to what I'd call sort of the cloud of SaaS 1.0 era, post GFC. And a lot of these startups started coming on the scene, many of which we know today are quite large. 2019, sort of leading up to 2022, this AI explosion, which is really, I would argue, disrupting some of these original cloud SaaS 1.0 sort of companies. What are you seeing on the ground right now? Because I know you consult with a couple of SaaS companies.
It's well known and well understood that investment in terms of venture capital funding is greatly reduced compared to what it was over the last few years. I mean, even that frenzy that we had, like, let's say in 21 and 22, it's fallen off dramatically. So there's still a lot of excitement about it. And like AI is definitely a focus, but I think there's a more tempered and pragmatic approach than what was happening previously.
Revenue and like positive unit economics versus maybe going for growth.
Most venture-backed companies, let's say over the last, 5 or 7 years, there's a lot of pressure to grow as quickly as possible. And now it's very different. Like, they want to see profitable growth, or they want to see a path to profitability. And I remember this very same thing happening in like 2001 and 2. So the dot-com boom in the 90s was the same in the sense that growth was the only thing that mattered. There were companies that got funded that, they only were collecting users or collecting eyeballs or collecting traffic. In fact, like everyone I talked to who experienced that, it was the most extreme I've ever seen. Like even 21 wasn't anything like what happened in 1999. Like companies were like raising money and going public with no revenue, right? Like that didn't even happen in the boom, right? Companies are generally good companies. They have good products. They have revenue. They have a lot of revenue. In the 90s, you had all kinds of companies that went public without any revenue. They had no hope of ever having a business model. They were just trying to grow as fast as possible. And they maybe weren't even growing that fast. They had the promise of growth, right? And so when that reversed, right, that can't go on forever. There was definitely a lot of scrutiny on, do you have a business that is going to show potential for profitability within like, let's call it a short time frame too. Like venture capitalists are trying to make a profit. These aren't like research divisions at a university. They want to make an investment and get an exit within 5 to 10 years. So they want a path to profitability and want it to happen fairly quickly.